Hi guys, this is Niki Rowland. I'm here today for Hip Kit Club, making a layout for Mixed Media Monday. I am absolutely delighted to say that my May kits have arrived, despite a bit of a delay in the time of the shipping. It went around halfway around the world, I think. So finally it's here. I have the main kit, the Pocket Live kit, the embellishment kit and the colour kit. Now my assignment today for Mixed Media Monday is to use the stencil, which is in the colour kit, and the Lindy's magical shakers. So I am doing that here. I've started off by using the Echo Park Stencil and just some texture paste. So it's a shimmers texture paste that we got in a previous kit. I think it was the December kit. I've just applied that to the background and left it to dry. Now that it's all dry, I've applied just shaken over some of the blue magical shaker. It's a really lovely colour. It's called Afternoon Delight Denim, and I've literally shaken that onto my page and then spritzed water all over it, and you can see just how amazing it was when I applied the water and it just spread out like crazy. I wanted to bring in a little bit of pink, so I put in a small amount of the Lindy's Medical Shaker in Alpine Ice Rose. That's the pink one in this month's kit. And I spritzed that with water too. I've left that to dry. I absorbed a little bit of the water, but mostly I wanted to have that watercolour effect, so I left it. And I literally walked away, let it dry for several hours. I think it might have actually been overnight. And this is the background I'm left with. So how awesome is that? The texture paste is resistant, obviously, so the blue colour shows around the areas that I have used texture paste on. So it's a really lovely effect. Okay, so now time to make my layout. I'm using a navy paper for my background. I'm planning to have a border all the way around the edge of my layout. I've used a sheet of marshmallow for this background because I knew I was going to be putting on lots of water and I didn't want it to warp too much. It has still warped quite a bit because it is only paper, and I did put on a ton of water. So I'm just trimming that down now to 11.5 inches square, and then I'm going to take the middle out of that paper there. That's a Dear Lizzie paper, and I'm going to stick that on there. It might go a bit wonky because my paper is warped a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be too bad. Actually, I think it turns out okay. I'm very conscious of a layout I messed up completely the other week, and it went so wonky that I've kind of perfected my technique a little bit. So now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of this layout. So I've pulled out all of the navy bits and pieces from the kit. I've pulled out a couple of Project Life cards. I'm also using a lot of the crepe paper All Heart collection, which I really love. I love that sheet of paper called Selfie, I think, but it's got all those picture frames on with little phrases and words and things in. So I cut that apart and I'm using some of those. I picked out two of the phrases. I don't know, you tell me, but it says, one of them, the greenish one, says all you need is, and I don't know if that says love or LOL. Either way, it works. I'm going with love, because that makes more sense with the whole all you need is thing. But anyway, even if it is all you need is LOL, which is lots of laughs or laugh out loud, then that kind of works too, because he's a very happy baby. So you can see I picked out a few of those frames. I've got a bit of a cluster going on the left hand side, and I'm just arranging those onto my background. I still want a lot of my background to show. However, I'm a bit worried that it's huge. The background, the mixed media in the background is huge. The colour goes almost to the edge of the white, and that's not normally how I do things. I normally keep my mixed media a bit more concentrated in the middle, so I have more of a white space between the edge of the mixed media and the edge of the layout. So it's a little bit big for me, but that's what happens with the shakers. They really explode with colour. So I'm just going to work with it. I'm just going to sort of see if I can put some extra embellishments on top of the photo cluster to expand my clusters a bit, so that the mixed media is not quite so big on its own. It needed something to go over the top of it. So I fussy cut some stars out from that really lovely crepe paper All Heart Stars paper, and now I'm just getting my title in place. I was looking for the word May, but the project life card didn't really work. So I've gone for just 9 months, which is this is his 9-month photo taken on his 9-month birthday. And I've used a multi-title there. So I've used the 9 from the Chamel Sparkle City Thickers, which I'm in love with, by the way, aren't they gorgeous? And then the months is from a exclusive hip kit alpha that's in this month's kit. I'm just going through and pulling out a few bits and pieces. You saw I pulled out those sequins. I love sequins, so I just figured I'd like to use those, but there's a lot of pink in them, and even though I want a small amount of pink in this layout, I didn't want to go overboard on the pink sequins. So I'm going to pick out some of the blues and silvers that's in that pack and sprinkle those over the background as well. I'm just adding in one of those frames. That's a crepe paper all heart frame. I couldn't work out if they were sticky or not, but they are. So I've just kept that on the backing at the moment so that I can figure out photo placement. What I would also like to do is add some stamping to my background. There's a set of crepe paper all heart stamps in this month's kit, and I thought it would be a good idea to use that. I'm going to stick with a dark grey ink and add some details to my background. I'm loving these fabric bows. It took me a few minutes to work out whether or not they were adhesive or not. I thought there was a backing on them that I could pull off, so I spent quite a while trying to work that out, but actually no, they're not adhesive. So I just had to stick them together. I've used my tape gun for that. They could possibly do with a bit more something a bit stronger, so I might have to reinforce later with some glossy accents, but I've just made up that black and white bow. I put it all together because the fabric bows come with these 3 pieces that make these fantastic bows. I'm really into bows on layouts at the moment. I think it was the crepe paper Maggie Holmes ones that came in the March kit, those big blue bows. I really love the look of them, so I'm using it all the time at the moment. So yeah, I was really happy to see these bows, the fabric bows that we could put together in this month's kit. Right, okay, so I'm getting there now. I'm just working out where everything can go. I'm still thinking about the stamping. As you can see, I've got it down on the left hand side. I have pulled out one of those really lovely tassels. I really love tassels. I really rate them. Particularly, that's a navy one, and it has silver foiled dipped ends, which is just completely awesome. I'm coming in with the stamping right now, so just a few stars. I've used 2 different styles of stars, one of the open ones and one of the really tiny solid stars. So I'm just adding a few of those in to the layout, around and about, over the mixed media, under the photo, kind of extending the design towards the top and the bottom of the layout. Anyway, going back to those tassels, so that blue one, the navy one, you can see that I really do want to use it. However, it's got this bit of gold on it, so it's got gold twine tied around the top, and it's got a gold jump ring. Well, it just wasn't quite sitting right with me that there was the gold there, because this layout really is a cool tone layout, and it's very much blues and silver would go much better, and the gold just wasn't really working for me. So you'll see what I do with that in a minute. I'm getting some of the chipboard pieces stuck down. I'm getting all my stars stuck in place. I've been through the exclusive ephemera and pulled out a couple of bits. So just the word hello that's above that frame on the right hand side, and then the little U, which is bottom right of that heart, also there's a little phrase underneath 9 months, I'm just sticking down now, that says you are one of a kind. So that they're all lovely and go really well. I'm just pulling off that backing there. I'm finally ready to stick my photo cluster in place, so just getting that frame in place, and then I can stick that whole photo cluster down. I stuck it all together in one cluster so that I could move it around and figure out where was best to put it on this very busy mixed media background. And I found that worked really well, because then I was able to really work out exactly what the best place for it would be. So here I'm going through those sequins, pulling out the blues and silvers. So there's a couple of different blues, there's some turquoise, darker blue as well, and a light one, and then also some silver. So I'm just getting those in place. I'm extending that vertical design, extending the layout to the top and to the bottom of the layout, and bringing that in with with those sequins. So just getting all of those stuck down using glossy accents. I like to use glossy accents to stick my sequins because they really do, if I put a nice generous blob down, they kind of set inside the blob of glossy, and then they don't go anywhere, they don't ping off later. So a nice generous amount of glossy accents to get that stuck in place. So here I am coming in to sort out this tassel because it's just not working for me. So I cut off the gold twine and I'm adding in some gold silver thread myself. So I've wrapped it around lots and lots of times. That jump ring still wasn't working for me. It was too gold. It was the only gold thing on the layout. It just wasn't working. So I left it there for a moment. I went in with some more silver thread behind the photo cluster there. I went to bring in that tassel. I'm still not happy with the gold, so in the end I actually remove it completely. I take out the jump ring completely. There we go, I'm doing it now. And then I was going to put some twine through it and tie it together, but actually it doesn't need it, and it looked just as good without a ring in it at all. So so that's how I solved the problem of the gold, the intrusive bit of gold that was trying to sneak its way onto my layout. Right, so I'm so nearly done now. I'm just going to handwrite in some journaling at the bottom, just a few words about what he's like at 9 months, what developments he has achieved this month. Before I know it, he'll be 10 months. I don't think I've done the 8th month layout yet, so I better get a move on. So that is me done for Mixed Media Monday, and say I used the stencil and the May colour kit as well as the other colour kits as well. The other kits to embellish with as well. So I really hope you enjoyed that layout. Thank you so much for joining me today. That was Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club.